did it, she got in there. I mean, she made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with JJ LaSelva. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. Boy, we are absolutely jam-packed on this program tonight. First and foremost, though, before we even begin, maybe I'm the last one. I probably am the last one, being the last show of the day, but I want to take this opportunity to, again, thank everybody, the hard-working men and women of Northeast Florida for the Tom Coughlin J-Fun Radiothon yesterday. Essentially $280,000 was raised on this radio station to benefit the J Fund, to help families in our area that are battling childhood cancer. $280,000. The generosity of you guys is absolutely amazing every single year. And what a day it was, and what great work everybody did, the volunteers, everybody here with the J Fund, to put that on to help out these families. So, again, thank you for raising basically $280,000 yesterday. It was sensational. Hopefully we have a sensational program for you tonight. I think we will. Guest lineup looks like this. Interesting conversation. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, coming up here in less than 15 minutes. Former Jaguar, former Houston Texan, Cecil Shorts, is going to join me. He's worked for both organizations. He's played for both organizations. And we're going to do kind of the fallout, the hit on Trevor Lawrence with Azeez Al-Shire, the Eric Armstead that went viral on social media, D'Amico Ryan's comments, Nick Caserio, the GM out there, his comments, a guy that played for both organizations. What did he think about everything that's transpired this week? I think you'll find that conversation interesting. Cecil Shorts joins me in less than 15 minutes. Also, towards the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour, National Signing Day, at least the December portion, is in the rearview mirror. So let's react to what Florida did and what Florida State did with the National Scouting Director for 247sports.com, Andrew Ivins. I always have a good conversation, a good relationship with Andrew, dating back to when I covered recruiting. About 5 or 6 years ago. Andrew is a very busy man today, but he's going to take time out for us to recap Florida and Florida State's signing classes. So Gator fan, Seminole fan, the National Scouting Director for 247 Sports, Andrew Ivins, will join me coming up here in about 35 minutes or so. So we're absolutely jam-packed. We're glad you're with us. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night, and JJ LaSelva. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, the initial shock, right, of 2-10 has probably set in. Might even be wearing off at this point. The fact that Trevor Lawrence is all but done for the year, that shock is probably set in and probably wearing off of some of us at this point. But there are still 5 games to go in the season, beginning this Sunday in Nashville against the Titans. So you're looking for storylines, right? You're looking for angles. What can be gained by these last 5 games? What can the Jaguars take away from these last 5 games? Well, I don't know about that necessarily. But what I do know is this. Amidst a terrible season, arguably the most disappointing season in the history of the Jaguar franchise, if there is any potential silver lining, if there is any potential glass half full scenario coming down the stretch here, boy, the opportunity for Jacksonville's own Mac Jones in his hometown, playing for a team that he had season tickets to back in the day. Now he is the starting quarterback of his hometown team due to the Trevor Lawrence injury. Mac Jones, a former first-round pick, Very accomplished high school player at the Bowls School. Obviously, what he did at the University of Alabama was a Pro Bowler for the New England Patriots. Obviously, did not work out there after a while. But now he comes to Jacksonville, and these next 5 weeks will tell the tale for Mac Jones' future. It's his barbecue now for the next 5 weeks. Can he be the next Sam Darnold? Remember, people thought Darnold's career was over. Not so fast. Can Mac Jones be the next Sam Darnold? Or is Mac Jones going to struggle, turn back into that guy we saw in New England, and probably never get another starting opportunity in the league? It could go either way. I am rooting for Mac Jones. I am a Mac Jones fan. I would love to see Mac Jones turn in to the next Sam Darnold. And the cool story, the cool vibe about it, a Jacksonville kid played 15 minutes from where I'm speaking to you at the Bowls School. Now he gets to be the starting quarterback of a team he grew up rooting for in the Jacksonville Jaguars with an opportunity to re-energize his career. That's a cool story. And ladies and gentlemen of Northeast Florida, let me tell you something. When you're 2-10, arguably the worst team in the league, already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, you're going to grasp at anything over these next 5 games. Grasp at the Mac Jones story, because that's a cool deal. Something you don't see all the time, something you very rarely see from a hometown perspective. A guy that gets the opportunity. Will he do something with it? That's yet to be seen. But he gets the opportunity to re-energize his career, to start back up his career as the starting quarterback of a team in the NFL that he grew up here locally rooting for. Season sucks. It's been awful. But the Mac Jones story that's going to play out over these next 5 weeks is certainly going to be fun to watch. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts are always welcome here on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Big game Thursday night football. It should be Sunday night. Feels like a Sunday night game. That's how big it is. 11-1 Detroit. 9-3 Green Bay? Are you kidding me? Huge game in the NFC. Huge game in the NFC North. They kick off in less than 10 minutes. We will keep you updated. But Thursday night football, what a game tonight. Lions and Packers, again, kicks off in less than 10 minutes. Coming up next, Cecil Shorts joins me every week here on Hacker After Dark. He, of course, is a former Jacksonville Jaguar. He is also a former Houston Texan. Let's talk to a guy that's played for both organizations, that's worked for both organizations to an extent, about what he thought. The Trevor Lawrence hit, Azeez Al-Shire, the DeMeco Ryans comments, the Eric Armstead Instagram like. There was a lot of stuff that happened this week. Let's talk to a former Jaguar and a former Texan about his thoughts on all of it. Cecil Shorts joins me next. Thursday night, Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Yo, what's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T, and I'm going to keep it real. We could all benefit from a little something extra in the bedroom. Blue Chew can help, and I'm about to tell you how you can get some for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Not even them nosy neighbors gonna know what's going on. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. And did I mention the chewable? Just like popping a Mentos. And they're made right here in the good old US of A. Now you're asking, how do I get my Blue Chew? Visit BlueChew.com and make sure to enter promo code 1010XL at checkout. Try it for free and just pay $5 shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's right. Use promo code 1010XL and let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
Hacker here. I know I've been sharing my Awaken 180 story for a while now, talking about how much I lost every week, and yeah, that's cool, but I get it. Redundant. So let me tell you something that hit me like a freight train the other day. I checked out my Awaken 180 weigh-in portal, and the number just clicked. I started at nearly 320 pounds, and today, my scale read just over 200 pounds. Let that sink in. I'm now lighter than 90% of my buddies. And let me tell you, that's a flex I couldn't dream of a year ago. I owe it all to my Awaken 180 coach and to the program set out to work for anyone. It's been absolutely life-changing. Don't just take my word for it. Head over to my Twitter at RyanGreen1010XL. You'll see the transformation for yourself. But the real transformation, that's how I feel every single day, every step I take, and every morning I wake up. Get that same feeling. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Yo, what's happening, sports bettors? It's your boy E to the T, and our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises. MyBookie is the one book that got your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does other sports books pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we've got you covered. Start up, use the promo code 1010XL, and that'll double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year. And betting game total unders has been printing money. So stack that on MyBookie Risk-Free Thursdays. That's right. There's a new risk-free odds boost every Thursday. To find the bet, click the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds you your money. Sign up and get that double deposit bonus with MyBookie. That's the best sign-up bonus in Florida for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 5th, 1978, baseball player Pete Rose signs a 4-year, $32 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies, becoming the highest-paid baseball player.
Hi, I'm Chuck Farrow. We know how important it is for you to have a vehicle after you've been injured in a car accident. So when we represent you for your personal injury claim, we'll help you get a rental car from the insurance company while your car is being repaired. And we'll provide this service at no additional fee. If you're hurt and you've got no car, let my team go to work for you. Farrah & Farrah, protecting you and your family. Call us at 396-5555 or go to farrahandfarrah.com. Jacksonville.
It's the end of the year sale with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a $250 gift card for holiday shopping. With financing options as low as $150 a month, protecting your home's never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP, and this offer expires December 31st. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Prosser here, and the Fed has dropped the rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low 5s for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6%, or if you're in the process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000, lower rates and lower fees. So get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. It's Loan Pronto. Call them at 904-999-1508, or you can visit loanpronto.com. That's loanpronto at 904-999-1508, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLS Consumer Access.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans come up this Sunday up in Nashville, 1 o'clock. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. 5 games to go for the Jaguars. They have already been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. It has certainly been an interesting week with the fallout from the Azeez Al-Shire situation, Trevor Lawrence placed on IR. There is a lot to get into. And with that, let's go to a former Jaguar and a former Houston Texan. My friend Cecil Shorts, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Cecil, it's been an interesting week, man. How are you?
RG. What a heck of a week, man. This is, I'm excited to talk to you today. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. And you are a former Jaguar. You are also a former Houston Texan. You've done work with both organizations in your past. And let's begin first and foremost with the hit itself. Trevor Lawrence going to the ground. Azeez Al-Shire, who does have a history of some interesting decisions on the football field, goes forearm first to the face, ultimately gets ejected and gets suspended 3 games. What did you make of the act last Sunday?
Illegal hits. I don't think it was a dirty hit. It was an illegal hit, a legal hit, period. Because the result of the hit was illegal. That's just what it was. But I don't think it was a dirty hit. A dirty hit to me is somebody is trying to intentionally take somebody out. When somebody is intentionally trying to, they sack a quarterback and twist his ankle, right? In that position, as a linebacker, his job is to make the tackle. In today's football, you've seen Mahomes, you've seen Allen, you've seen Kenny Pickett in the past, you've seen multiple quarterbacks fake slide or do whatever or slide late to get extra yards, right? In that position, he had to make a decision. Am I going to hit this guy or am I going to just let him figure out what he does, right? In a split second, if you time it from the time that Trevor starts to slide to the time he's hit, it's less than a second. So yeah, in real time, you have to really think about what am I going to do? He just reacted and went for the hit. Now, again, the hit was illegal. I'm not defending the hit at all. The hit was illegal. I just don't think it was dirty. I think it was a split-second decision. I don't think he was reaching for his head. I don't think he was trying to hit him in the helmet. I think he was going for the chest area. But it happened that he hit him in the helmet. So, rightfully so. It should have been a penalty. It should have been some type of punishment, but I don't think it was a dirty hit. Now, the melee after is a different story. I think personally he was suspended for all the melee that happened afterwards, right? What Jacksonville did defending their teammate, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's part of football, right? Because that's just what it is. You fight, you get penalized, you can't fight in the football field. But I understand that first part. So after that broke up and he continues to lose control and lose his mind a little bit, can't be under control, is going to fight one of the linemen for the Jacksonville. I think that moment was like, all right, he's going to be suspended for that because it made football look bad. If you look at Saturday, think about Saturday and all the rivalry games and how many fights were happening or about to happen and how bad it looked. The NFL is in charge of football. They are the boss man of football. So when they see that melee that happened on the field on Sunday afternoon in the NFL, they're like, oh, no. We got to make this guy an example. This is just my opinion. Because the hit alone is not going to get him suspended for 3 games. Not the hit alone. Because in my opinion, there was a hit later in that game where Josh Hines-Allen went helmet to helmet with Nico Collins that could have been, a more vicious hit, right? Or we've seen games throughout that day with probably more vicious hits. But because of all that melee and everything that went on, that is the reason they kind of sent the message like, hey, this is what we got to do. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to come down on him. Now, do I agree it should have been 3 games? I don't. I don't. I think it should have been one. I think it should have been one. He should be suspended. It should be one. It was an illegal hit. He has a history of pushing the boundaries, right? He has a history of that, pushing the boundaries. I don't think he's a dirty player. I don't. When I think of dirty players, I'm gonna say it again. I think of Sue, the D tackle. I think of Bill Romanowski, right? I think of Richie Incognito. I don't put him in that category. He's the guy that plays through the whistle. Legit plays through the whistle. And I seen all these clips on Instagram. I'm like, yo, y'all showing 4 clips over his entire career when his entire career been 7-8 years. Like, come on. You can look at so you can look at a bunch of other people that have more dirty plays or just as many dirty plays. You don't call them dirty. Like, he's just being besides the point. It's an illegal hit. I think he was used as a example for the 3 games. 3 games seems a bit harsh for me.
Former Jaguar, former Texan wide receiver Cecil Shorts. I will say this. The Tom Brady chokehold was an interesting clip, right? I was talking to people in Chicago. I didn't remember this, but the punch to the face and an other altercation with Caleb Williams out of bounds. And then Tennessee people were telling me this week that he got fined last week for hitting Pollard like 3 yards out of bounds. So I do wonder if the suspension, not only with the melee that ensued afterwards, I agree with you, but in those other incidents, agreed, it's only 4 or 5. It's not a lot, but it's still, you put Tom Brady in a chokehold, that video is going to make the rounds. And the reason that video made the rounds was a couple of things. And I wonder how, again, your former organization, the Texans, you also played here in Jacksonville, so you have a great perspective on this. Look, I get defending your guy, right? And I think you were probably teammates with D'Amico Ryans. If you weren't, you certainly know him. I mean, I get defending your guy. But for D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio, the GM, primarily D'Amico, to both stand up there and say, yeah, I think Jacksonville overreacted. The quarterback slide too late, this, that, and the other. Well, that may very well be the case. But if C.J. Stroud had that happen to him, say if Foye Oluokun or Andre Sisco or whomever did that to Stroud, I'm willing to bet the Texans would have responded the same way. I didn't think too much of what the Texans did to defend him.
Yeah, I agree. I don't agree. Now, I'll be honest with you. I have no problem with what Nick Caserio said. What D'Amico said, I mean, I don't agree with it, just being honest. When your quarterback gets hit, you want your team to defend your quarterback. Like, if he doesn't, then it says something about that quarterback. It says something about that team. It says something about the culture that's being built, right? I was looking at different hits from when Flacco got hit by Kiko Alonso and John Harbaugh or Jim. Is it John or Jim in Baltimore?
John, and he lost his mind.
He lost his mind because he loved his quarterback so much, right? That's a part of it. So I can only imagine if that happened to CJ, what he would be reacting to, right? How that would be. So I think you need to stay away from those comments when you're a head coach because that's what you want. You want your team to defend your guys, right? You want your team to go out there. Whatever Ingram did on the field when he went up there and pushed them and say, hey, you're not going to mess with Mike. I love that. That's what you want, right? That's just what it is. You have to defend your guy. Now, what Caserio said, I think is honestly true. It's flat out true. The NFL, and everybody knows this, they're inconsistent. They're inconsistent with how they deliver punishment. Period. Like it's amazing to me. Like he broke it down perfectly. Kareem Jackson, who Jacksonville fans will know because he was in Houston forever, right? Illegal hit, fine. Illegal hit again, same season, fine. Illegal hit the third time, then all times he got ejected, and then he got suspended. So a guy does it 3 times in 1 year, he gets fined both times, and then it's just. And then you can look at Brian Branch, the guy from the safety for the Lions. Illegal hit, gets ejected, and then plays the next week versus the Texans. So it's just, to me, again, it goes back to the melee. It goes back to what happened on Saturday with football, just in general, and maybe a little bit with the recent history. But 3 games is egregious to me. I can understand 1 game. I totally get that. Because, again, it was an illegal hit, period. I'm not arguing the hit. It was illegal. Again, I don't think his intent was to do that, but it was illegal. But when you look at the inconsistencies, man, I can't disagree with Nick Caserio. That is flat out wrong. And then what John Runyon, out of all people, John Runyon. Like, I'm not getting the game was played differently back then. The game was played differently back then, right? I get that. But when you calling out his character and saying that he doesn't play the game the right way, he doesn't care about all this stuff, that's not true. Like, you're acting like you know the guy. You don't know the guy. Maybe if you actually did, he was homeless damn near half his life, trying to survive. You can understand why he plays the game the way he plays it. He plays it all the way through the whistle. Like, literally, if you're a coach, you want this guy to play this way. You teach your players to play this way. You rather have to bring a guy back a little bit than have to push him forward and get him to play harder. So to hear those words, and I think, and I'll be honest with you, one thing I do love about the Texans in this situation, and whether you agree with Nick or D'Amico, they're on the same page. They're united. Right. And this can be an opportunity for them to really come together as a team who's been kind of up and down this year. Right. To really gel together, say, hey, our guys got our back. We can make something good out of this, even though he's gone for 3 games. Right. I love seeing that unity, and that unity is not everywhere. And you know firsthand, RG, like, it's not all the time that your head coach and GM are on the same page. It's not all the time that your head coach and GM are showing the same passion about something, right?
Well, it never happens here in Jacksonville, Cecil. You know that.
I mean, even Doug Peterson. Where's the passion when your guy is hurt?
Well, that's the
Where's
thing.
The passion.
Yeah.
If I'm a fan, I'm pissed off. Like, why aren't you more into? Like, why aren't you mad? Give me some type of emotional response.
Well, let's go quick here, because there are a couple more things I want to get to with you. But I've had a couple of former Jaguars tell me this week that they didn't like the response for the Jaguars. They loved what Evan Ingram did, and Jari and Jones, and obviously the melee. But I'm not, you didn't have to take C.J. Stroud out of the game or anything in the second half. But where was the passion? Doug Peterson kept calling it an unfortunate hit. It's unfortunate. We need to take it out of the game. That rubbed some people here the wrong way. You're a former Jaguar. What was your reaction?
Well, after the fact, I thought they fought hard in the game, right? I thought they came back and they made a run and could have did something in the end. I don't like the response in the media. Like, don't talk about fines. Don't talk about that. So, like, I love what the rookie said. You know what I mean? Like, he was passionate. What was the rookie? His last name?
Jari and Jones.
Jari and Jones. I love what he had to say. He's going to fight for his guys. He's with his guys. All 70 guys on the team, like, he's with it. Didn't even want to talk about D'Amico. I love that. I love that passion. You just need more of it. And if the guys aren't into it, get rid of them. Like, period. It seems like it needs to be an overhaul. As close as I thought they could have been to contenders. It seems like if the culture is to the point where you're not going to defend your guy or play harder, or this doesn't fire you up or motivate you to do whatever, like, you got to get rid of those guys. You got to get rid of those guys, period. Coach included, if that's the case, right? But then it makes no sense to me that there's no emotional response, even though, like, I understand you're struggling, you're 2-10 this year, but at least give me something. Like, because the players can feed off of that. Like if you're a coach, I'm fired up, I'm going off on them because they can get fired up about me, even if I'm faking it. I'm trying to find a way to get my guys fired up to win, right? Let's go play for Trevor. Let's go play for our guy, our quarterback. Let's go play for our brother, right? And I didn't feel any type of motivation, and I'm sure he cares about Trevor, right? And wants him to be healthy and all that. But it was just like, this is your moment to really rally the troops and be the leader and really lead in that moment. And I feel like you didn't. And that's what made me upset. And I'm thinking, as a former player, like, man, if he's not even riled up about it, why should I be? Right? We're not even on the same page.
Final moments with Cecil Shorts. All right, and then the plot thickens because, look, to me, the Texans PR staff, the Texans media relations department, they got Azeez Al-Shaair to do that apology on Monday. And I even said it on Monday. I'm not sure how heartfelt that was. And that came to fruition to me last night after the NFL upholds the 3-game suspension. Al-Shaair, in his infinite wisdom, goes on social media and says, all right, you want me to be the villain? I'll be the villain, with a picture of Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker. So, again, I'm not sure how much that apology actually meant on Monday. The subplot here in Jacksonville, and again, Cecil, you're younger than I am, so maybe you tell the old guy here. Eric Armstead of the Jaguars liked the post that says, if you want me to be the villain, I'll be the villain. See you soon. Now, I understand they were teammates together in San Francisco, but you got to read the room, right? I mean, you didn't have to hit the like button. And for Armstead to hit the like button on Instagram last night about that post from Al-Shaair, a guy who just killed the quarterback you play with 3 days ago, it's not a good look, correct?
I don't know. I'm torn on this one because number one, why are we liking or why are we looking at the likes? Like, what does the like mean? It just means he liked the post, right? That could have been motivation. It could have been hey, that's my brother. I played with him 2-3 years. I understand where you're coming from. He could if we talked to him, you guys happen to talk to him, I would ask him like, hey, what's your thoughts on the process? Like, where do you fit? Because you and Aziz were teammates. So what's your mindset when it comes to Aziz? I seen you like the post. What does that look like? Why did you like it? Because I don't know if it's a negative thing or not. Now, I'll say this. If you're reading the room, you wouldn't have liked it.
Right.
Right?
It's gotten plenty of response since then.
If
Yeah.
you got some awareness, right, you probably wouldn't have liked it. But Eric Armstead's always been, everywhere he's been a good teammate. He's a really good guy, right? He's awesome in the community. So I don't think there's any malicious harm behind it. I just personally think he just wasn't aware. He's thinking of his brother right now. And I think it's hard to separate that for fans. He played with him for a good amount of time. So it's hard, even if it was 2 years, that's still a lot of time they spent together on the defensive side of the football, right? And as you get to know your brother and you play with them and you learn their stories and you get close with them, you understand where they're coming from. So Eric probably understands where he's coming from more than anybody in that locker room because that was his teammate for a couple of years. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if there's any malicious harm to it. I would say this, though. The awareness, like his awareness on Madden got to go down a little bit because you're not reading the room. This is a hot topic. You probably should stay away from it, but I just don't know if we should read too much into that.
Cecil, as we wrap up, we got about 90 seconds. We'll actually talk football next week. But the one football-related topic with the Jaguars, Trevor to IR, to me, it was the right move. You protect him from himself. He can't argue about playing now. Put him on IR. Quite a 5-game opportunity, I guess, for Mac Jones beginning this Sunday in Nashville to try to rejuvenate his career a little bit moving forward.
You know what? Two things. One, yes, it's good just for Mac to get some reps. It's good for Mac to kind of put himself out there. I'm not sure how long he's signed in Jacksonville, but it's good for him to get reps and put himself out there if he hopes to be a starting quarterback again one day. Good resume moving forward. But also, I wouldn't be surprised. Or put it this way. Let me ask you this. Do you think any Jacksonville players should be suspended? Or not suspended, maybe fined?
For the situation on Sunday, I mean, Jarian Jones got ejected from the game. I mean, I guess he threw a punch. That might be the one. I wouldn't do anything to Ingram. I think any NFL player would have reacted that way. And then I'd have to go back and look. Brandon Sheriff went out onto the field to confront Al-Shaair, who's screaming at him. So I don't know how much blame there, but perhaps. But I mean, maybe Jones would be the one just because he simply got ejected. But I can tell you this: Jarian Jones is looked at as the man here in Jacksonville for doing that.
Well, I tell you what, that's awesome, man. He's standing up for his team. Now, if I was the coach, I'll say, hey, maybe don't punch next time because we do need you during the game, whatever the case may be. But I think he's gained a lot of respect in the city, a lot of respect from his teammates. Now I'm just curious what your thoughts were on that. That was all. But yeah, Mac Jones has a really good chance to continue his resume, make some plays down the field, and try to win some games and finish the season strong.
I'll tell you this, man, the Jaguar-Texan rivalry was already pretty good. It's now been amplified pretty high going into 2025.
Yes,
no question about that. Cecil Shorts played for both organizations, the Jaguars and the Texans, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Cecil, enjoy the ball games this Sunday. We'll be back next week to recap, my friend.
All right, take care, brother.
There you go. Cecil Shorts with us every week here on Hacker After Dark. I enjoyed the perspective. I know some people on the text line are disagreeing with Cecil a little bit, but I figure a former Jaguar, a former Texan, he would be a good guy to talk to about everything that transpired here last Sunday. The NFL, week 14 already? Good grief. Only a couple of weeks left in the regular season. Thursday Night Football, David Montgomery, a rushing touchdown here in the first quarter. Detroit 7, Green Bay nothing. A battle of NFC heavyweights going on in the Motor City. Again, Lions 7, Packers nothing. We will keep you updated. Yesterday was National Signing Day, at least the December portion. Andrew Ivins is the National Scouting Director for 247sports.com. He's a busy man, but he made time for us. Let's talk about Florida. Let's talk about Florida State, a little Miami as well. How did the in-state schools do on National Signing Day yesterday? Andrew Ivins, National Scouting Director of 247 Sports, joins us next. Hacker After Dark on a Thursday, right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Gotta go to work, guys. Gotta go to work. We gotta go to work.
It was the point where they shifted into high gear. Go. It's the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game.
That feel good. That feel good.
On 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a septic tank emergency.
Don't let your holidays go down the drain. Duck Rooter's here to save your Christmas cheer. Whether it's a stubborn clog, a burst pipe, or a septic scare, we'll fix it faster than Santa can slide down a chimney. Duck Rooter. Call us now and save the day. 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Rooter, because nobody wants a silent night in the bathroom.
Chris Doring is chomping at the bit to tell you about today's Gators.
Chomp!
With Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. Tuesday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. On 1010XL.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, City Rescue Mission is here to help. Learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
The Creeks Athletic Association in St. Johns County offers a variety of sports for children 5 to 18. Learn how to get your child involved at caaleague.org.
Builders Care is looking for volunteers, and there are so many ways you can help. Find out how at builderscare.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The December early signing period is in the rearview mirror. What a day it was for so many athletes locally, regionally, and nationally. And on the surface, what a day it appears it was for both the Florida Gators and the Florida State Seminoles. Let's talk about all of it with Andrew Ivins. He is the Director of Scouting for 247sports.com. And Andrew is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Just kind of recovering from a very busy Wednesday and gearing up for the next few days of the signing period. And then we get into these all-star games and you got the February signing day as well, so I'm doing good.
Yeah, I know it's a busy time for you. We appreciate you taking time out. All right, let's begin with Florida. I'll dive deeper in a moment, but the vibe I got from Gator fans, they're very ecstatic about what happened in the 2 weeks leading up to signing day. Maybe a little bummed out what actually transpired on signing day. From a mile-high perspective, how would you assess what Billy Napier was able to do?
Yeah, I think you got to get that reaction. I mean, hey, did Florida pull off the dream finish Wednesday? No. I mean, they didn't get everyone they wanted, but let's not forget, I mean, you go back to a month ago, right before Florida faced LSU, this recruiting class was sitting in the 50s. It was ranked, I think, 51st nationally. And then, they wake up Thursday morning and it's sitting number 11, knocking on the door for a top 10 finish. We haven't seen that type of rise really, since I've been doing this, and, I've been doing it for almost a decade now. It was quite the push, and I get it. There were some guys that Florida had hoped maybe they could pry away from some other schools. That didn't happen. But I think for Florida, there's plenty of reason to celebrate, and I think DJ Lagway is a major reason why the Gators were able to bust out the spatula and flip so many different prospects down the stretch. I mean, DJ was our top-ranked quarterback last cycle. He was a kid that many of these recruits knew, and then they all got a chance to see him lead Florida to 3 straight victories, 2 against ranked opponents, and one of them coming against an in-state rival. So I think for Florida, this was, a huge win for them. And really, if you compare it to this time last year, right, it's the complete opposite. Florida was bleeding down the stretch. They were tumbling in the rankings. Everyone was questioning Billy Napier's future. And the play of DJ Lagway has certainly flipped the script.
Andrew Ivins, the Director of Scouting for 247sports.com, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. All right, Andrew, you're immersed in this world. I hear it, from people that are inside the bubble like you are. This is the vibe I've gotten. Tell me how accurate this is. Why did Florida flip so many guys? Well, you mentioned DJ Lagway. That was one of them. The other one was a vote of confidence that Billy Napier got. Guys figured out Billy was going to be back in 2025. And the third, and quite frankly, maybe the most important, certainly one of the most important, is Florida has their collective and NIL situation much better than it used to be. How accurate are those theories?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just named all three of the reasons, and really the last one with the name, image, and likeness. And Florida obviously has a large alumni base. There is no shortage of boosters out there. But from my perspective, you go back to the start of the season and you kind of looked at Florida's class. It felt like there wasn't support from the top. And that's one of the main reasons why Florida wasn't able to, get things going much earlier in the cycle. And after that vote of confidence came, after it became clear that, okay, DJ Lagway has a chance to be special in the SEC, it seems like, from my perspective, and I don't think I'm far off here, the gates were opened a little bit, and that allowed Florida to go out there and make a run at some of these individuals. I think what's also unique about Florida's position, this whole recruiting process is just so accelerated. A lot of schools are taking commitments from players before they play their senior seasons. And, I'm in the evaluating and in the scouting business. That 12th grade year is so important to just try to project what a player can be. We're talking about, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Not all of them are playing on varsity as a freshman or sophomores, especially if they're at one of these power programs. So, Florida finally got the green light to get aggressive. And I think what really stands out is, okay, some of these guys that they pulled away from other schools, the arrow is clearly pointing up. Florida had that opportunity to, scout, evaluate, stack the board, and then go out there and get aggressive.
Andrew, of the 24 or so new Gators that signed on the dotted line yesterday, give Gator fans here in Jacksonville maybe two or three that they should be the most excited about.
Yeah, and really, you can go up and down the signee list, and Billy Napier and his staff, you have to give it credit to him, right? When he came in, he said he was hiring an army of individuals, and I think you can select any of the 23 and make a case for them that they're going to be able to make an impact in the SEC. I think the headliner is Vernell Brown. Obviously, he's the legacy recruit out of the Orlando area. I mean, this guy is a chunk play machine, and he kind of reminds me a lot of Trey Wilson, who obviously has dealt with some injuries there in Gainesville, but when he is healthy, he's electric. And I think Vernell Brown is going to potentially, bring that same type of excitement to the offense, someone that Billy Napier, they can utilize pre-snap, try to create some mismatches, get him the ball in space. The other guy that I love is Ben Hanks, cornerback from down in Miami. He's actually Miami-Dade's set the single season record in interceptions. He's got 13, or excuse me, I think it's 16 or 13. I can't even keep track. I knew a few weeks ago he had 20 career interceptions, and you think about all of the talented defensive backs that have come out of Miami-Dade. This is the guy that has the most takeaways. And, he's a bit lean, but his dad played linebacker for the Gators many, many moons ago, and he was a good one. So he's a kid that doesn't panic. And I think for Florida's defense, it might not be year one, but year two, year three, he has a chance to shut down one side of the field. And, I also just really like in general what Florida did on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to return a lot of guys in the front seven. You got the young linebackers, Aaron Childs, Miles Graham. They're coming along, and they just reloaded. Hilton Stubbs, the kid from Jacksonville, Mandarin. I think he fits UF's defense to a T. Big frame safety that can key and trigger, come downhill. Same with Lagonza Hayward, who was kind of the biggest signing day addition for him. Florida flipping him from Tennessee. That's a kid from a small town in the Peach State. But I think he offers versatility. And as Florida continues to kind of blur the positional lines on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they're getting guys that can do a little bit of everything, and that's kind of the name of the game.
A couple more for Andrew Ivins, Director of Scouting, 247sports.com. Andrew, final Gator question. Obviously, a majority of the hay is in the barn, maybe all of it. You tell me. Are there any leftovers? As Florida fan, do they need to be on the lookout in the coming days or as we look ahead to February for any couple additions that may come to this class?
Well, yeah, you know what's unique is this early signing period was as early as it's ever been, and I think we're in year 5 or year 6 of the December signing period. And initially, if you reverse it to the first time that came around, you know, not everyone signed. Some people waited, and then go back to last year. I mean, pretty much everyone signed that initial day. But it feels like, and we don't have the data on it yet, we're still kind of crunching the numbers. It feels like there's more guys available than some of these previous years. And I think that's a product of, hey, there are teams that are playing for conference championships this weekend. You got head coaching changes at major Power 4 programs, North Carolina, UCF. So I think for the first time in a while, some student athletes, some of these recruits have hit the pause button. So I think for Florida, they are going to vet and they're going to look through what is still out there. And Billy Napier and his staff, I mean, they do an excellent job of assembling a board. And if they don't get plan A, they'll quickly move to plan B. And last year that was a guy like Jaden Ball, the true freshman running back. So we'll see what's out there for Florida. They're going to be grinding the tape, and they might be able to find a gem here over the next few weeks.
Andrew, in the time we have left, let's go to Tallahassee. Not a lot of expectations for Florida State coming in. And even though their class ranking won't be great when you give it the eye test, from all accounts, it was a pretty good day for Florida State on signing day.
Absolutely. And I didn't really know what to think of what Mike Norvell was going to be able to do. Obviously, he's made some staff changes there, but you go back to the start of November, Florida State, I think at the time was 1-8. The recruiting class ranked 56th nationally, and they wake up Thursday morning sitting 25th in the rankings. It's not easy to recruit when everyone is seeing that on-field product and how bad it was. A lot of people are going to probably point to the fact, okay, they flipped some players from some not so talented schools. Yeah, sure, but they added some potential difference makers. I think Usman Kroma, running back out of Georgia, that was a kid that was committed to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. I mean, he's our number 4 ranked ball carrier. You think about Gus Malzahn coming in, what type of offense he's going to run. He's looking for a bell cow, and Usman Kroma, he's the guy that mixes together a big physical frame with vision and burst. He'll try to run through defenders. I think the biggest kind of win for Florida State on Wednesday was holding on to defensive lineman Kevin Wynn. He's a top 64 player for us. That accounts to a second round projection one day in the NFL draft. I call Kevin Wynn a heavy Chevy. I mean, he is built like an ox, moves like a cat. He can certainly anchor, but we're talking about a kid that's well over 320 pounds, and he's someone that I think can step in right away and provide some valuable snaps in Florida State's rotation. And they're going to go through a huge kind of roster rebuild here. They're going to be very active in the transfer portal, but Mike Norvell, I think he has realized, kind of given how things went here in 2024, that you need to recruit high school prospects. And I do think they did pretty well in terms of getting in some players with developmental upside at the 11th hour.
Final moments, Andrew Ivins, Director of Scouting, 247sports.com. All right, Andrew, Miami, look, best year of any of the state of Florida teams on the field. Fallen, it appears, just short of the playoff, which is obviously disappointing. But I got to tell you, I go back to after the Florida State game. Mario Cristobal held that press conference where he said, hey, any recruit that sees the trajectory of us compared to the trajectory of the other schools, obviously mentioning Florida and Florida State, you know where you need to be. And from that point forward, for whatever reason, it has not been all sunshine and rainbows for the Hurricanes in recruiting. In fact, Florida has beaten them in the rankings this year to this point. Are you surprised Miami struggled down the stretch?
I am. And I think Miami, them playing this past weekend on the road, I just get the kind of feeling, and I've talked to some people in Coral Gables inside those football offices, and I think they're kind of asking a lot of questions like what exactly happened? They lost a trio of defenders in the final week, and usually Mario Cristobal, that's a guy that eats, sleeps, breathes recruiting. He tends to thrive right before signing days. He's always has a trick or two up his sleeve. And, Miami added Keelan Wiley on Wednesday. That was the only addition for them. And, there's a lot of parts to like in the recruiting class, but it seems like they almost took the foot off the pedal. And you wonder, okay, is Miami going to try to get back in the transfer portal? I think there's plenty of questions about, all right, what's the plan in 2025 at quarterback? Obviously, Cam Ward had a heck of a year, leading the nation in a number of the statistical categories. He's off to the NFL draft. So I think Miami they're trying to figure out what they're going to do at the game's most important position. With that being said, there are some guys I really like in the class. Hayden Lowe, a pass rusher out of California. I think when we look at all the edge rushers in this 2025 cycle, he's the one that could potentially make an impact as a true freshman, kind of like how Dylan Stewart has at South Carolina. 16 sacks on the year for him. So, he's kind of the prize under the Christmas tree for Mario.
Andrew Ivins, Director of Scouting, 247sports.com. Andrew, I know it's been a very busy week for you. We certainly thank you for taking time out. We'll wait till the dust settles. Once we get some action in the transfer portal, we'll hope to have you back on, my friend. Thank you as always.
Yeah, it should be a busy few weeks with it opening on Monday. Thanks for having me on.
Mondays in the fall are made for talking football. Let's talk football. Football! Sink your teeth into Dandy Foods Postgame Monday. Let's talk football. Makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Beers.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched the home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start to the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here. And fellas, we all know that athletes train every day to perform better on the field, right? But what if you could enhance your performance in the bedroom? No training required. That's right. I'm talking about that secret weapon, Blue Chew. A chewable tablet with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin that ships right to your door in a discreet package. No doctor visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's all online. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. They also have Daily Tag that contains 7 essential vitamins. And it's chewable too. And now you can try Blue Chew for the free ski. That's right, for free on me. Visit BlueChew.com and enter my promo code 1010XL. You only have to pay $5 for shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's promo code 1010XL. Let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime on Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock tonight. Coming up later on in the 9 o'clock hour, we will go to Nashville. The Jaguars actually do play a football game on Sunday, right, against the Tennessee Titans. Boy, 2 juggernauts going at it there. The 2-10 Jaguars, the 3-9 Tennessee Titans. But we will get the Titans' perspective on this game. One of my guys up in Nashville is Tyler Rowland. He is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. We'll talk a little Will Levis. We'll talk a little Calvin Ridley. More on him in just a moment. But we'll get the Tennessee perspective of this matchup on Sunday with Tyler Rowland, who is, again, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. That's coming up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Coming up in less than 20 minutes, Verlin Dormany, the head football coach at Trinity Christian. We have 3 teams remaining in our area in the high school football playoffs for the FHSAA. St. Augustine is left. You've already heard from Brian Braddock this week, their head coach. Raines is still alive. You've already heard from Donovan Maslin, the Reigns head coach. And tonight you'll hear from Verlin Dormany of Trinity Christian. Tough assignment for Trinity. They got to go down to Miami to play Chaminade Madonna, one of the best teams in the area. In fact, both St. Augustine and Trinity have about 5.5-hour trips. They're both going to South Florida. Reigns is the only team that's at home Friday night. Sarasota Booker comes up here. But again, good luck to Reigns and St. Augustine and also Trinity Christian. And we'll hear from their head coach, Verlin Dormany, coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. Thursday night football, week 14 in the National Football League. Two of the best teams in the NFL, clearly two of the best teams in the NFC. Detroit has just added a field goal, and they lead Green Bay 10-0. The Lions, with a win tonight, would all but eliminate Green Bay from the NFC North race. Detroit 11-1 coming into tonight. Green Bay 9-3. Again, the Lions up 10-0. 13 minutes to go in the second quarter. We will keep you updated. I was telling JJ earlier, all the talk about Ben Johnson, right? Everybody wants Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for Detroit. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. That includes everybody outside of Jacksonville. He's going to be the hottest name on all these coaching searches. If Jacksonville does come open. We already know the Jets are open. We already know the Saints are open. We already know the Bears are open. One would think there's at least a decent chance potentially the Cowboys come open. One would think there's a decent chance the Giants potentially come open. Could Antonio Pierce be one and done with the Raiders? There's going to be some openings. There's no doubt about that. And Ben Johnson's going to be at the top of a lot of lists. And watching this game tonight and really going back to the Jaguar game against Detroit, and you just watch this guy, man, some of the plays that he calls, the Jaguars, I don't think functionally could do. I literally don't think they would be capable of doing some of the things Ben Johnson's calling. It looks like Detroit's offense is in another league compared to Jacksonville's. It's really striking when you watch it. He is an offensive innovator. He is terrific. Now, other names that will be thrown out there, because, again, Ben Johnson's going to be wanted by everybody. How about Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator in Tampa? I like him. I like what he's done with the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. You then, of course, have Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator in Buffalo. You have maybe a surprise, but I think Cliff Kingsbury, former head coach of the Cardinals, current offensive coordinator of the Commanders. I think he will be in the conversation for some of these openings. Defensively, you got a guy like Mike Vrabel, who's been out of the league this year as far as a head coach, but we know how accomplished he is. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator in Detroit, I think is going to get a good look. People rave about Jesse Mentor, the D coordinator for Harbaugh out with the Chargers. People love that guy. And then speaking of defense, Bill Belichick. And did you see the news earlier today? You want to talk about something just completely coming out of left field, man. I mean, completely coming out of left field. Bill Belichick, the 6-time Super Bowl champion. Bill Belichick, a first ballot shoo-in for Canton, Ohio in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, reportedly interviewed for the head coaching job at the University of North Carolina. UNC interviewing Bill Belichick. Now, I get it from North Carolina's perspective. Are you kidding me? Funny thing is, Bill Belichick, I believe, is 8 months younger than Mac Brown, who North Carolina just recently fired. Belichick in his early 70s. But I get it from UNC's perspective. Why wouldn't you interview Bill Belichick? I'm not sure I understand it from Belichick's perspective. I mean, again, a 6-time Super Bowl champion, first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. If you want to get back into the coaching game in the NFL, well, I get that, I guess, right? You still have that itch. But is Bill Belichick going to recruit? Is Bill Belichick going to do the booster meetings and the booster tours and everything that goes with being a college football head coach? I couldn't imagine Bill Belichick doing that. So I thought it was really interesting when the news came out earlier today that he has interviewed in Chapel Hill with the North Carolina Tar Heels. We'll see if anything comes of that. Back into this Jaguar game on Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. Of course, we will have the fifth quarter for you here on 1010XL, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans go final on Sunday evening. Calvin Ridley, right? This is kind of the Calvin Ridley game. Now, the luster has come off of it because the Jaguars are awful and the Titans are awful. The luster's come off of it a little bit because of what transpired last week with the hit and everything that went on with the Houston Texans. But still, when the NFL schedule came out back in late April, early May, this Jaguar-Titan game was circled, man. This thing was circled. Calvin Ridley, who basically left the Jaguars at the altar, right, in the 11th hour. Tennessee comes in with a $19 million a year offer. Something like $50 million or whatever guaranteed. Jacksonville just wasn't going to match that. And Calvin Ridley goes to the Titans. And at the time, I remember sitting there on social media in March, the night after that happened, about a week after that happened, and people were fuming at Trent Baalke, at Calvin Ridley, at the whole situation. But when you take a deep breath now, some 8 months after Ridley leaves for Nashville, you will find out one absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, consequential fact that came out of Calvin Ridley going to Nashville. And that fact is simply this. If Calvin Ridley doesn't join the Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars do not draft Brian Thomas Jr. They don't draft him. That was a response. Drafting BTJ was a response to losing Calvin Ridley. So in retrospect, here we are 8 months later. Terrific thing that happened. Terrific. And I don't think Ridley's been bad for the Titans. I think he's actually been pretty good for the Titans. That, to me, is a situation where both teams won because of that decision. I think Tennessee won because they got a good wide receiver, and Calvin Ridley has been good for them. And I think Jacksonville won because you lose 29-year-old Calvin Ridley, and you're forced to pivot, and you pivot into drafting 21-year-old Brian Thomas Jr. And clearly BTJ is going to be one of the foundation pieces of this team moving forward. And he's going to be one of the guys you want to watch over the next 5 weeks. I talked about earlier tonight here on Hacker After Dark the opportunity that Mac Jones has to rejuvenate his career. Well, obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. is the guy to watch over the next 5 weeks. Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, Tank Bigsby on the offensive side of the ball. Heck, give me a little Elijah Cooks while you're at it. Play the young guys. See what they got. You're not going to the playoffs anyway. Defensively, there's no reason to ever take Ventrell Miller off the field. Jarian Jones, get DeAndre Prince out there. For the love of all that is holy, get Mason Smith out there. Jordan Jefferson, all these young guys, play them over the next 5 weeks. So if it's Doug Peterson or, more than likely, if it's a new coaching staff, you'll have a lot of film and a lot of reps on these young guys to have some sort of understanding what you have coming back to the roster in 2025. Maybe the most intriguing is Parker Washington from the sense that he had 6 for over 100 last week. If he continues that, if he continues up putting numbers similar to that, probably spells the end of Christian Kirk here in Jacksonville, right? Parker Washington, a considerably cheaper option than Christian Kirk would be if you brought him back. So even though the Jaguars are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, there's still a lot to look at, a lot to play for, and that begins against Sunday in Nashville against the hated Tennessee Titans. Again, Thursday night football, 8:48 to go in the second quarter. Detroit 10, Green Bay nothing. Detroit, by the way, just absolutely wounded on defense. Hasn't mattered yet. Green Bay still being shut out midway through the second quarter. Coming up next, Verlin Dormany, the head coach at Trinity Christian. They are in the state Final Four in Class 1A of the FHSAA football playoffs. They travel to Miami tomorrow night to take on Chaminade Madonna, one of the best teams in the state. Let's talk to Verlin Dormany about that game, and I want to talk to Verlin Dormany about this. 3 of his former guys are playing for Billy Napier. Marcus Burke, Trayon Webb, Austin Barber. What is the most accomplished coach currently in high school football in Jacksonville? Think of the turnaround for Billy Napier in Gainesville based on the fact that 3 of his former players are on Napier's roster. We'll talk about all of that with Verlin Dormany coming up next. Thursday night, Hacker After Dark. Glad you're with us. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's more than just filling the stat sheet. It's the guy who makes the universal difference.
Breaks free, cuts back, and grabs a man for a touchdown.
The Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL. Follow Florida Gators men's basketball on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, I've told so many people about Awaken 180, and I love telling my story about how Awaken 180 has changed my life, man. Saved my life. I look at photos of me 9 months ago compared to today. I can't believe it, man. Look at some of the station photos of me on social media from 9 months ago. Compare that to the stream you watch every night. If that's not a glowing endorsement of what Awaken 180 can do, I don't know what is. Take it from a guy who's lost over 100 pounds on this program. If you need to lose weight, whether it's 100 pounds, whether it's 20 pounds, any point in between, go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Awaken 180 is changing lives. They're saving lives. I know this because I'm one of them. You could be the next. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Hey gang, Dan Hicken here for America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million active members. It's Prize Picks. First things first, download the app today and use code JAX, that's JAX, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download that app today, use code JAX, $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. How to play? All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, like, is Jared Goff going to throw for more than 230 passing yards? Will Saquon Barkley have more than 1 touchdown? Will Travis Kelce have less than 70 receiving yards? You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, which they usually do, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals. Prize Picks, run your game.
Human trafficking happens in Jacksonville. As a man, you could do something about it. Buy survivor-made holiday gifts at Rethreaded. From leather goods to toffees and treats, shop in person or online at rethreaded.com. Changing lives through gifting.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
If you're between ages 16 and 24, you can learn a career in construction, electrical, plumbing, or masonry with free training from the AMI Kids Florida Registered Free Apprenticeship Program. Call 576-7337.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating at a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com. This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 5th, 1978, baseball player Pete Rose signs a 4-year, $32 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies, becoming the highest-paid baseball player.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, visit AA Automotive on Richard Street. For oil changes to complex repairs, AA Automotive is a full-service repair shop for personal and commercial fleet vehicles. Trust AA to keep your ride running A-OK.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. We are to the state semifinals in every classification in the FHSAA football playoffs. 3 teams in our area are still alive, and that includes Trinity Christian in Class 1A. They are heading to the state semifinals again under head coach Verlin Dormany after a victory last week over University Christian. Coach Dormany's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how we doing, man?
Hack, I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
Congrats on the win. University Christian, a good football team, obviously a ton of state championships in their history. You guys went at it last Friday, 27-6. Boy, what a great effort by your guys to advance in the playoffs.
You know, Hack, it was. Our kids have, they're young, and we've talked about being young, but we tell them now they're not young because they've already got we've got 13 games under our belt plus a preseason game. So, they're getting a little older and a little better, and they've worked really, really hard to get where they are. And we're just glad to really still be playing.
You know, I've talked to you about this under the Friday Night Lights, but for the benefit of people that haven't listened to that are listening this evening, it's always fun when you have a bunch of seniors and you can beat teams 50-0, right? There's nothing wrong with that, and you've certainly had a lot of those teams over your past. But you mentioned the youth on this team. This team had to figure it out. This team obviously is a lot better now from where you were in August and even September. And as a coach and as a staff, that must be unbelievably rewarding for you guys to see the improvement that your team has had.
It really is. It really is. It starts really just with our offensive front has gotten so much better each week. And we're able to keep our quarterbacks upright, been able to run the football better. And so offensively, we've gotten better and better and better each week. Defensively, we've gotten better. We're playing better against the pass now. Run stop's been good. And, sometimes we just make, young mistakes that hurt us. But, you eliminate them and goodness, what they say, the future's bright.
Verlin Dormany of Trinity Christian here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville, getting ready for another state semifinal. Coach, you head to Miami to play Chaminade Madonna. For people that don't know, that is a powerhouse down in the South Florida area. I heard they've won. I mean, they're a relatively young program. I don't think they've been around but about 10 years or so, but they've made quite the impact in a very short amount of time.
You know what? They have been. They've been around for a while now. There was a coach there several years ago that won a lot, and then he left and went to come north or a little bit further north and coach. He might have even went to Georgia and coach. Then it kind of fell off, but lately they've won the state championship, I think, last 3 years in a row, and they're really good. They have put some great players at the Power 5 level the last several years, and they're really good.
You know, you've obviously been accustomed to road trips. You got a 5-hour trip on Friday. You got to go to South Florida. Obviously, that's a great experience for your kids. It goes without saying. They're playing in a state semifinal. But what are the challenges for taking a high school team on the road that far in a state semifinal?
Well, the challenge is me. I'm old, and I have a hard time getting on that bus. But they're resilient. And I told our kids, I said, you know what, we want to get to this game because this is the game we're probably going to see, hopefully the next 3 years. This one and 2 more with these sophomores that are playing. I said, so we really have to go play them and see, how good they are and then how good we have to get and to play them. So, they'll be dialed in. We'll leave early on Friday morning, sometime probably around 9:00, so, and take a break and get off the bus and get a little walk through somewhere, and then go back. Probably do the next 2.5 hours, and then get off the bus, have a team meal, and then get there a couple hours before game time and get ready to play. That does take a little something out of you, and hopefully our kids aren't flat when they get off the bus, get ready to play, but. That's part of playing high school football. Now that they don't play north against north and south against south, and they reseed you, that could happen. You can go south and play. And we were fortunate to be in the top 4, but we're the 4 seed. They're the 1 seed, so we have to go to them.
Final moments, Verwin Dormany of Trinity Christian. You've obviously coached many state semifinals. Your staff has as well. You do mention the youth. Do you have enough upperclassmen on this team that have had postseason experience that you think that'll help the younger guys?
Well, we only have 9 seniors, and all of them, of course, were on the team last year. And so, they understand. A lot of these kids that are juniors were on the team last year, sophomores. So they've been there and done that. And we took a lot of these 10th graders because they were 9th graders last year and just put them in the fire. So, yeah, we're excited about going to play, and I'm sure it's going to be an eye-opening experience for them to be in that situation. But, we'll be better for it.
I got to ask you, keys to victory over Shamadan Madonna. Good football team, but heck, you're a good football team. You got all those banners. You got those championship rings. You guys don't hold a candle to anybody. What are the keys to victory for you guys on Friday night?
Well, they've got a back that is Power 5. He's really, really good. We have to somehow slow him down. We can't give up the big play. If we can keep them from, hitting on a 45, 50-yard play, I think we can stay in the ball game, but and we're just going to have to be able to block them, and defensive front, they're good. And on the back end, they're really good on the defense side. So, you got to keep the ball out of their hands and take away that big play. If we can do that, maybe we can stay in a ball game, but man, they've been scored a bunch of points in the last playoffs.
Coach, I got to ask you, as we begin to wrap up, Billy Napier is on a heater right now in Gainesville with what he's doing in recruiting. You have 3 of your guys that are playing for Billy Napier: Austin Barber, Marcus Burke, Trayon Webb. Just in your experience in the coaching fraternity in high school, boy, the turnaround at Florida from a guy that was on the hot seat, people wanted him fired a month and a half ago, to now finishing 7-5, absolutely destroying Florida State, beating LSU and Ole Miss, and doing what he's doing on the recruiting trail. I mean, you've seen a lot of coaches come through the college ranks recruiting your kids. What do you make of the turnaround for Billy Napier in Gainesville?
We've had several conversations. He's come to the school a couple of times and, recruited our kids. And like I said, we have 3 down there playing. And I've never heard one of our kids say one thing negative about him. They all love him, So it's like time. It's got to take time, and I think they hit that point in the middle of the season this year to where, they got a quarterback that, wasn't ready early, and then of course he was thrown into the fire and got hurt a little bit, but he's going to be I just really believe that they're going to be and do great things because I think he's really a good coach.
Rowan Dorminey of Trinity Christian in the state semifinals in Class 1A. They will head down to South Florida Friday night to take on Shamadan Madonna for a right to play in the 1A state championship game. Coach, best of luck. Go get a victory. We hope we're talking to you next week.
Heck, I hope so, buddy. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, the injured hamstring. All it takes to spoil the dream is the tweak of a hamstring.
Boy, this is bad news.
Listen for the Farah and Farah injury update
On 1010XL, Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as one day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Kuhn Flowers invites you to join their Spread the Joy gift drive, supporting families here in Florida impacted by the recent hurricanes. They're accepting new and unwrapped toys, gifts, or monetary donations. Visit KuhnFlowers.com to find out more.
The Army-Navy Game Watch Party, presented by the City of Jacksonville Military Affairs and Veterans Department on some of the world's largest screens. With free parking, requesting $5 entry donation. Gates open at 2 for the Army-Navy Game Watch Party at Everbank Stadium.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
It's the end of the year sale with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a $250 gift card for holiday shopping. With financing options as low as $150 a month, protecting your home's never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP, and this offer expires December 31st. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Hey folks, Dave Binion here with Zero Res. At Zero Res, we love rugs. We will treat your fine Oriental rugs with the tender and loving care they deserve. Gerard, the Zero Res rug manager, is one of the few certified master rug cleaners in Florida. If you want your rugs cleaned with tender loving care, call Zero Res. Right now, get your rugs washed and we will give you 25% off. Zero Res, spell forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
The holidays are here, and so is your entire family.
Uh-oh, the toilet's not flushing.
And now the kitchen sink's clogged too?
There's water coming from the ceiling. It's raining in the living room.
Don't let this be your holiday disaster. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get those plumbing issues fixed before family time turns into flood time. Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock up in Nashville. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio, and what a compelling matchup this is. Combined records of 5-19. I guess one of the big stories is who actually wants to win this game, because the winner of this game ultimately hurts themselves in April when it comes to the NFL draft. Let's talk about all of it with one of our guys when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. Tyler Rowland is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Tyler, how are you, man?
I'm doing about as well as I can do, coming off of watching a despicable performance from the Tennessee Titans on Sunday against the Commanders. But, you know, jumping right into what you were saying there before bringing me on, I actually think that the Titans need to win this game far more than the Jacksonville Jaguars do, regardless of the draft pick implications in this one. I think both teams are in totally different situations. Jacksonville's probably going to have a new head coach. They're going to be without Trevor Lawrence. There's valid reason for them to lose this game with their backup in, and it's not about building towards the future. You're probably going to take a step back in the offseason and kind of redo things, at least from a coaching perspective. Whereas Brian Callahan really cannot afford to lose this game at home to Jacksonville. They need to build a culture for the Titans. He's not going anywhere after this year. So a loss for the Titans, I think, would really, really, really harm the culture that Brian Callahan's trying to build. So even though it hurts the draft pick, I think the Titans desperately need to win this game. Whereas you're right, Jacksonville is probably better off to lose it.
Tyler, I've told you this a lot in the past. One of the reasons I love having you on when it comes to Titans media is you're a pretty straight shooter, man. You don't sugarcoat a whole lot. And I got to tell you, here in Jacksonville, we're stunned at how bad the Jaguars are. Just absolutely flabbergasted. Tennessee's not much better. Are you surprised the Titans are having as poor a year as they're having?
I think I am surprised that the record is as bad as it is. I think that I had them with a floor of 6 wins coming into the season, maybe 6 or 7 wins with the additions that they made on both sides of the ball through the draft, through free agency. I thought it was pretty unlikely that they would be as poor as they were last year when they went 6-11, but it looks like they're going to be lucky to even get to 6-11. And I think the reality of why that is because of how poor Will Levis played early in the year. The flick 6, as we call it, against the Chicago Bears, having 2 punts blocked, one against the Bears and then one against the Jets that resulted in 7 points for those teams. Will Levis making all those mistakes early in the year. It basically doomed the Titans. In reality, I think that, they're like a 4-8 football team, a 5-7 football team is what the talent level and the performance should really have them at. But Will Levis was just so terrible, and the special teams has been just so terrible all season. And Levis being so poor in that first month of the year before he got injured, They lost games that they should. I mean, they were up 17-0 on the Bears in week 1, and rookie quarterbacks never win their debut game. So there are just a couple of little things that happened that were inexplicable that have led to them being 3-9, where I think, you are what your record says you are, but I do think that they are a little bit better of a football team. But because of those things early in the year where they turned wins into losses, it's put them in this position where it looks a lot worse than I think it actually is.
Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Jaguars and Titans Sunday at 1 o'clock. You mentioned Will Levis. Is he going to be the guy in 2025, or is that still up in the air?
I think unless he reverts back to that first month that I just mentioned, he is going to be the guy in 2025. And, of course, there's a multifaceted answer to that. Number one, he has been excellent for a month now. The Titans have only had, one win in 4 games, but Will Levis has been great, whereas at the beginning of the season, the Titans were losing because Will Levis was hurting everyone else. Now everyone else is hurting Will Levis, and he is lifting the team up and playing just really, really great football and really improving. So I think unless he does some unexpected reversion back to what he was doing at the beginning of the year, making stupid turnovers, he is a lock to be the guy in 2025 with his arm talent and his ability. It only makes sense for the Titans to build around him for another offseason and then see what he can be in his 3rd year. And I think the other side of that discussion, and luckily for Jacksonville, they don't need to, dive into these waters either, but I'm just not very confident in the quarterback class. I think there's only 2 true first-rounders in Shedeur Sanders from Colorado and Cam Ward from Miami, and I don't think that either of them would have been a top 5 prospect if they were in last year's QB class. I think they both would be second rounders if they were in last year's QB class. So just the fact that they're the best that they have this year, I don't think they're very good options, and I don't think that they present a significant upgrade over Will Levis at this time, or a significant more high upside. So with my kind of uncertainty with this year's QB class coming in, and then what Will Levis has put on tape for the last month, I think he certainly will be the guy in 2025.
Let's get to Calvin Ridley. Obviously, that was a gigantic story back in March when the Titans kind of came in and took Ridley from the Jaguars. As a result of that, the Jaguars drafted a guy named Brian Thomas Jr., and I can tell you Jacksonville feels okay about that, the fan base especially. How has Ridley been, year number 1 in Nashville?
I think Calvin Ridley's been excellent. I mean, the passing offense really struggled early on. And then Mason Rudolph comes in, and Ridley had a really good game in Detroit with Mason Rudolph, 10 catches, 143 yards. But overall, it's hard for those deep connections to happen when you're rolling with Mason Rudolph out there. But Calvin Ridley's been great. Outside of Tony Pollard at running back, Ridley has been the second best player on the offensive side of the ball. He's been explosive. He's made huge plays down the field. I mean, just a week ago, in the game against the Houston Texans, he had 5 catches, 93 yards, a big 63-yarder on a 3rd down. Like, Calvin Ridley has been everything that Titans fans expected. Now, there aren't, it's not perfect. Obviously, there's been a couple of drops, but, Ridley isn't even in the top 15 in the NFL in drop passes this year. His drop percentage is under 5%. Calvin Ridley dropping the football has not been an issue whatsoever this year in terms of differentiating between wins and losses. So overall, he's been an incredible positive. I don't know where they would be if they didn't have him. Right now, it would be, with Traylon Burks being out most of the year, their 6th-round rookie wide receiver not doing much. Bryce Oliver is a good undrafted free agent, but, I mean, they had to trade DeAndre Hopkins, and if they would have traded DeAndre Hopkins without having Calvin Ridley, it would just have been a disaster. So is Calvin Ridley top 10 wide receiver in the NFL? No, probably not. But he's not getting paid like that either. He's getting paid like the 17th best wide receiver in the NFL. And I think he certainly is a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL still. He's been he is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he has been excellent this year for the Titans in a passing offense that has struggled, not because of him this season. But, I mean, like you said, Brian Thomas Jr. is awesome. I think he's probably the best rookie wide receiver this year so far. Him, Malik Neighbors, You know what I mean? It's a conversation to be had. So I think it might have, sadly, it might have been a win-win for both teams.
A couple more for Tyler Rowland. He's the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. I remember I had you on in the offseason because Tennessee seemed like they spent $1 billion in free agency. I mean, it was wild, man. I mean, 3-9 from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like they've gotten return on their investment. Do you believe they have?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. I mean, like I said, Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard have been the best players on the offensive side of the ball for the Titans. Lloyd Cushenberry at center was having a good season, and then he blew his Achilles. It's not like, he's been bad. It's like, what can you do there? That's not even a soft tissue or anything. That's just a terrible injury to suffer. So from that perspective, yes. But you look at the other side of the ball. I mean, the two cornerbacks that they signed, Chido Awuzie and then L'Jarius Sneed. Sneed was terrible when he was healthy, and then he's been out for 7 weeks now, and he's probably not going to come back. Why would you bring Sneed back to a 3-9 team or a 4-9 team, whatever they end up being after this weekend? So the defensive additions with Kenneth Murray and L'Jarius Sneed, they have not been worth the money, but the offensive additions have. So it's kind of, you could look at it either way you want to. I think the reality here is, and a lot of Titans fans complain about the money spent and how it didn't translate, but would you rather them have not spent any money and just sat on $100 million of cap space and done nothing? Like the problem with spending money on free agents in the NFL is you use your money on those guys and then you don't have money to re-sign your young players that you developed. Well, the Titans don't have any young players to sign because their previous GM missed on drafts for 4 straight seasons. So there is nobody to use the money on. So to me, it's not, the money is wasted. They're not going to – what else would you have done with it other than just not spend it at all? So I'm happy that they at least went out and spent it and tried, and it's not going to negatively affect anything in the franchise because there's no young players to pay. So to me, it didn't work perfect. It didn't work as well as they hoped, but some of it really did work well. Some of it didn't work as well, and you're better off spending money and trying than just holding on to $80 million in cap space and doing nothing at all. So that's kind of the way I view that.
Tyler, as we begin to wrap up, you mentioned Brian Callahan, the first-year head coach. Again, 3-9, not great from the outside looking in. What is the thought on him, and does he need to put together some W's at the end of the year, or could there be questions about him going into 2025?
Well, I don't think that the Titans would fire him and make him a one and done. I don't think that there's a reality where that's going to happen. He will be back next year, if not for football patience. For the owner isn't going to give him a 4-year contract and then fire him and pay somebody else. Like, owners just don't do stuff like that very often. So I think he's going to be back in 2025 no matter what. But I can tell you that there's a lot of people in this fan base who are not happy with Brian Callahan, who don't have faith in him going forward. And I think that while I do have more faith in Brian Callahan than your average Titans person, I think it's fair to be a little worried because I would say that at least 2 and potentially 3 of these games have been a majority of a problem with the coaching. They were not ready to play against the Washington Commanders. First drive, 3 pre-snap penalties. The run defense gives up a touchdown in 3 straight plays on Washington's first drive. You go back to playing Will Levis against the Colts, and then he's out for the next 3 weeks in a row after being hurt 2 weeks before that. Why was he playing in that game? Did that make his injury worse and keep him out even longer? They were not ready to play against the Green Bay Packers and got absolutely schooled from a coaching perspective when you look at the scheme and the plan. So I would say at least 2 or 3 losses this year. The primary reason was coaching. So Callahan's 39. He was never even a play caller. He's going to go through his rookie lumps as a head coach. He's going to have to turn it on quick in 2025, or he's going to be somebody who people talk about on the hot seat during the season and a midseason firing if they come out and look the way that they've looked this year.
Yeah, we can certainly relate to that with what's going on here in Jacksonville, no question.
Right.
I want to ask you, being in the division, obviously you saw Azeez Al-Shire and what he did here in Jacksonville on Sunday. He was a Tennessee Titan last year. You covered him last year. That guy's public enemy number 1 here, as you can imagine. From a Titans perspective and a guy that played for the Titans last year, what was made of that in the Titan fan base about Alshire and what he did to Trevor Lawrence?
Well, I think a lot of people recognized it for what it was. It was a dirty hit. It was an unnecessary hit. A lot of defensive players want to, protect the defensive side of the ball and say, oh, he slid late. Well, it's not just landed on him. He literally put his forearm to his helmet and shoved it into the ground. Like, it was a clear, dirty hit. And I think that for me, I was never a big fan of Azeez Alshire last year. A lot of Titans fans looked at the box score and said, oh, he makes a lot of tackles, but he's a liability over the middle of the field. He's an undisciplined player. And you look just a week before that, he hit Tony Pollard late as all get out on the sideline and got a penalty in that game. Go back a couple of years when he was with San Francisco, he choked Tom Brady and punched an offensive lineman in a game. He's a dirty, dirty player. He's always been a dirty player. So it's no shock to me that he did this. And quite frankly, I'm happy they suspended him for 4 games. I think it might get reduced by a game or 2 because the NFL loves to be heavy-handed early for PR reasons and then bump it back down once people quit caring in our news cycle society. But he's a dirty player. He's always been a dirty player. I think the Texans overpaid for him in the offseason anyway. I can't say I'm a big fan of Azeez Alshire.
Yeah, John Runyon, who came out with that statement, was pretty vocal about his opinion on what Alshire did to Trevor Lawrence. Yep. And, yeah, he's suspended multiple games, and rightfully so. That was ridiculous. All right, Tyler, I always tell Jaguar fans this. For people that want to keep up to date on the rival, particularly in the next 4 weeks, we're going to play you guys twice. How can they find the Locked On Titans podcast?
YouTube, any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts, and on YouTube, Locked On Titans, Monday through Friday. Well, I release it, Sunday night through Thursday night, but always there. And then, of course, at Tic Tac Titans on Twitter as well.
Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. Tyler, appreciate it. We'll do it again when you guys make the return trip here in about a month.
Sounds like a good deal.
And thank you to Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Jacksonville and Tennessee on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. The 2-10 Jaguars, the 3-9 Tennessee Titans, and, of course, Mac Jones will get the start for Jacksonville as he is likely to be the starting quarterback for the 5 remaining games here in 2024. It was interesting talking to Tyler to get kind of the Titans' perspective, right, where Tennessee is coming into this game on Sunday, and Calvin Ridley playing his former team. That'll certainly be one of the storylines to follow. Of course, after that game goes final, we will have the 5th quarter for you here on 1010XL. The head coach, Dave Campo, the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy, and yours truly. 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans do go final, the 5th quarter will be here on Sunday evening on 1010XL. So we obviously spent a lot of time on that, and then we certainly spent a lot of time on college football, right? On National Signing Day, that was yesterday. Talking Florida State. By all accounts, a pretty good day for both teams yesterday. Both should be pretty happy about what they were able to do on the recruiting trail, all things considering. And we certainly spent some time on that here on Hacker After Dark. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very busy Thursday evening here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Tyler Rowland is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. Thank you to Verlin Dormany, the head coach of Trinity Christian, as they are in the state semifinals in their Class 1A state playoffs. They will play tomorrow night on the road down in South Florida against Chaminade Madonna, one of the best teams in the state. Good luck to Verlin Dormany and Trinity Christian as they look to advance to the state championship game in the FHSAA football playoffs. I mentioned Florida and Florida State recruiting talk with Andrew Ivins. He is the director of scouting for 247sports.com. Always appreciate Andrew taking time out for us. And back in hour number 1, my buddy Cecil Shorts, former Jaguar and a former Texan wide receiver. I thought it was pretty interesting getting Cecil's perspective as a guy who played for both organizations, kind of the fallout of Azeez Alshire and the Trevor Lawrence hit and the suspension and everything that's come with that. If you missed that interview, Jaguar fans, I think you'll find it interesting. You can check that out on 1010XL.com's on-demand section. We will be back tomorrow night on a Friday to close out the week, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. J.J. LaSelva was your producer. Tonight, JJ, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Friday to close out the week, beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jackson.